Hello and welcome everyone to the Environment Primer series of Drishti IAS English. My name is Pragya. So in today's interesting episode of Environment Primer, we are going to discuss a very unique and a significant topic that is related to our day-to-day lives. The title of our today's discussion is The Fashion Waste in India. So, all of us are the culprits of following fashion trends or the latest fashion trends, okay. But do you know that how much damage it is causing to our environment? So, we are going to discuss all of this in our today's session. So, in this discussion, we are firstly going to understand this phenomenon of fast fashion or the trending fashion that we are blindly following, okay. Then we are also going to examine what is the textile waste that is being generated by following of fast fashion. Then we are also going to examine the fashion industry threats to the environment, and we are also going to see the fashion waste in India. And lastly, we are going to discuss some of the important questions from the perspective of your prelims examination. So if I talk about the background of our today's topic, 95% of this fast fashion or the trendy fashion which we are using, that means we are changing our clothing patterns from every 2 to 3 months. 95% of this is ending up in landfills. And which in turn is causing a huge damage to our environment. So unknowingly or knowingly, we are responsible for this environmental damage because we are blindly following the fast fashion or the trendy fashion trends, okay. Moving forward to the moot point of our today's discussion, that what exactly is this phenomenon of fast fashion? So have you ever wondered why Zudio is revolutionizing the Indian market? Okay, have you ever wondered why do you have this urge of changing your whole wardrobe within a gap of 2 to 3 months? And I'm not saying I'm not responsible. Yes, even I'm the culprit of it. I have this weird consumer behavior pattern that yes, within 2 to 3 months I buy new clothes for myself. So all of us are doing so. And this exactly is the fast fashion, that we are changing our fashion statements from time to time again, from styles to style again. So in simple terms, fast fashion is inexpensive clothing mass produced in response to the latest trends and high fashion designs. And with manufacturing becoming cheaper and abundant in labor, there has been a steady rise in fast fashion in the last few decades. And as per a United Nations report published in 2019, global clothing production doubled between the years 2000 to 2014. But if you talk about this report highlights that this fashion industry is responsible for 20% of the wastewater. So yes, knowingly or unknowingly, we are causing a huge damage to our environment. Moving forward, let us understand what is a textile waste or what is a fashion waste. Okay, so fashion waste is a term used to define the different types of materials that are discarded after the manufacturing process is complete or upon the expiry of the product life cycle. For example, you might be aware that yes, there are some fibers known as the synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers. And these synthetic fibers are very hard to decompose, okay. So definitely they are creating a lot amount of waste in the fashion industry, okay. 92 million tons of textile waste is produced every year throughout the globe, and 60% of the clothes that are made from non-recyclable fabrics such as the synthetic fibers. Okay, and you will be shocked to know that only 1% of the fiber is being recycled. Rest we are not even recycling, okay. So if you talk about the global scenario, only 22% of the textile waste is being recycled. And definitely these are some of the shocking figures. And if I mention about the carbon footprints, so if we go on blindly following these fashion trends and the kind of amount of textile waste or the fashion waste we are generating, so the carbon footprints is going to jump around 26% by 2050. So yes, this is a very worrying trend that has been pointed out by the United Nations Environment Program or the 2019 United Nations report. Moving forward, let us examine the fashion industry threats to our environment, because this is the moot point of discussion of our today's session. So if you talk about the worldwide figure, cloth manufacturing releases 1.2 billion tons of carbon dioxide every year, posing severe environmental challenges. And if you talk about the country in Africa, we are decomposing or dumping the fashion waste there, and they have open landfills, and these open landfills can generate a huge amount of methane, and methane is a greenhouse gas. So just imagine the kind of greenhouse gas emissions we are uh, causing by following the fashion trends or by having the fashion waste untreated, okay, or the textile waste that we are generating. Then textile industry currently produces 3% of the global CO2 emissions. It is predicted to increase over 10% by the year 2050. So as I have mentioned that yes, the carbon footprints are going to jump around 26% if you continue to follow the present trend. Moving forward, fast fashion brands have doubled textile production volume since 2000, resulting in significant textile waste, and it is a common problem around the globe. Okay, so if you talk about the European Commission, it clearly says that we are not recycling our textile waste. Okay, and it will also clearly stated that 1% of the clothes are made from old clothes. Rest we are using the plastic bottles to make the clothes, but that is also not environmentally sustainable. Chemicals utilized in textile manufacturing pose hazards to both the environment and human health. So whenever we buy a cloth for ourselves, what do we check? That our skin is able to breathe freely in that cloth, okay? The oxygen is passing through the cloth, okay? But if you talk about the certain synthetic fibers, they cause a huge harm to the human health also, because the chemicals that they are exposing our body to are harmful to the human health. So not only they are harmful for the environment, they are also harmful for the human health. And if you talk about the water which we are using to wash our clothes, so it is releasing microplastics in the oceans. And who is consuming these microplastics in return? The humans. Moving forward, dyeing processes are particularly polluting, contributing to environmental degradation. The prevalent use of synthetic materials like polyester increases non-biodegradable waste in oceans. So yes, these synthetic waste or the synthetic fibers, they are not easily degradable, okay, they are not easily recyclable, and definitely they are posing a huge challenge to the environment, okay. Pesticides and herbicides in agriculture for fiber production harm soil fertility and biodiversity, affecting the crop yields. So if you talk about the India, more than 60% of our clothes are made from the cotton, okay, and cotton is a very water intensive crop. It utilizes water a lot, and it is also sprinkled with pesticides, and hence it is damaging the soil fertility as well, okay. So these are the environmental challenges that are being posed by the textile waste. As per the UNEP report, 3781 liters of water is utilized, okay, for creating one pair of jeans. So for production of one pair of your jeans, from production to the assembly of that jeans in the clothing store, 3781 liters of water is being utilized, and this is water is sufficient to provide for 5 million of the population. So yes, just imagine you are using enormous amount of water to wash your clothes as well. Okay. So what can be the way forward? Okay. So firstly, we need to change our clothing habits. Okay. We need to find sustainable fashion as a solution. And secondly, we need to be more cautious of the products that we are buying. Moving forward, let us discuss that Ghana is also facing a full-blown environmental crisis due to the fast fashion dumps or the disposal of unused and unwanted apparel, because we are using Africa as a dump ground for the textile waste. Not only this, we are also landfills in Africa are also open landfills. So yes, if we are dumping our textile waste there, in turn is generating a huge amount of methane, which is a greenhouse gas. So just imagine the emission of the greenhouse gases, okay? And it accounts for nearly 60% of the Ghana's landfills, out of which 40% are clothing bales arriving from fashion hubs across the globe. And this has led to tangle webs in beach sands, with methane causing severe air and water pollution. So this is the crisis of the textile waste that the whole globe is facing as of now. Moving forward, let us discuss the fashion waste in India, because India is the world's second largest producer of textiles as well as the consumer of textile products. So, India holds the position of being the world's second largest contributor to the textile and apparel production and the largest producer of cotton textiles. Annually, approximately 9 lakh tons of textile cutting waste is generated during manufacturing processes, with 60% of being cotton based. As I told you, in India we prefer cotton clothes, and cotton is a very water intensive crop. It is spread with pesticides, okay, and that is why it is generating a large amount of textile waste in India, and this crisis has already been pointed out by our Prime Minister recently. Moving forward, India's textile waste comprises 8.5% of the global share, with only 59% of it being reintroduced in the textile industry through reuse and recycling efforts. So we are far behind in reusing and recycling our old clothes. So in not only in India, if you talk about Europe also, they are also on the same condition, because they also think that it is not important to reuse and recycle the clothes. The country is a significant global producer of man-made fibers. But if you talk about the domestic man-made fibers in India, the industry is consisting of only two major fibers, and that is polyester and rayon, viscous rayon or rayon. So these are synthetic fibers, and as I have been reiterating that they are not easy to recycle and reuse, okay, they are not easily decomposable, and that is why they pose a significant threat to the environment. Man-made fibers, also referred to as synthetic fibers, pose challenges in separation, sorting and recycling due to their complex chemical composition and variety. So yes, India is also suffering from the textile waste crisis. So with this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen what is fast fashion. We have also seen how it is generating a huge amount of textile waste or the fashion waste. We have also seen that what are the threats and challenges that is being posed by the fashion waste to our environment. We have also discussed the textile crisis in India or the fashion waste crisis in India. Now let us discuss a practice question for your prelims examination, which I asked in my previous session. So the question is, according to India's national policy on biofuels, which of the following can be used as a raw material for the production of biofuel? And this was a PYQ that was asked in the year 2020. So, number 1, cassava. Number 2, damaged wheat grains. Number 3, groundnut seeds. Number 4, horse gram. Number 5, rotten potatoes. And number 6, sugar beet. So, select the correct answer using the codes given below. Your option A was 1, 2, 5 and 6 only. Option B 1, 3, 4 and 6 only. Option C 2, 3, 4 and 5 only. And option D was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. All of these options are correct. So, correct answer is going to be option A. 1, 2, 5 and 6 only options are correct for this question. Now, let us discuss some of the important questions from our today's session. So, the question is, other than waste and pollution, what other threats does the textile industry pose to the environment? Your options are, option A is over commercialization of an area, option B use of resources, option C inability to use recycled products in textile, option D is breakdown of ecological cycle of rain and water reclamation. So, the correct answer is going to be option C, inability to use recycled products in the textile industry. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, you can drop it in the comment box below. If you liked today's discussion and found it to be helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting updates. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.